Expect this to spread throughout the country in 2024, and there may not be much that Americans can really do about it. You see, we've been under this constant pressure from many different countries in terms of support and conflict. You've seen it in Israel, Ukraine, Russia, Palestine, China, and to be frank, guys, the US feels like a completely different country altogether. Now, it's also worth noting that our borders, specifically our southern borders, remain a threat to Americans, given that supposed terrorists are entering the nation with very little to no pushback. Now, this is vital information that you need to know about and you need to be informed of, so please watch until the end of this video.
Let's talk about the numbers at the border as well, because they're not slowing down since the start of the new fiscal year. Customs and Border Patrol reporting that migrant encounters hit more than 242,000 in November. That's up from the October numbers, but down from September's record of almost 270,000 migrants in a single month. So you've got border agents that have also encountered 17 people on the terror watch list last month, bringing that total to 34 in just the first 2 months of the fiscal year of 2024. Art, I mean, this is just, it's completely out of control at a time when we're worried about terrorism on our own soil because of what's happening in the Middle East. You're allowing terrorists to come across the southern border?
And it'll continue to happen because of the lack of consequences from this administration. And I'm going to tell you, it's everywhere. When you see the numbers go up in Texas, they'll go up again in Arizona. And it's constant distraction from the cartels, who are the ones that are controlling where the groups are coming across. And it's going to continue to happen because, again, there's no consequences.
Now, just to clear it up, guys, before any of you comment, this is cause for national security concerns. Now, we're not talking about people who are seeking asylum, okay? We're talking about possible terrorists that are slipping through the borders under the Biden administration. I mean, like, some of them are literally on the terrorist watch list. So here's my question for you guys. Like, should this current administration be held accountable if attacks do happen on American soil? Attacks that could possibly come from terrorists who have used the open borders to enter our country? Comment a simple yes or no to that one. And while you guys are thinking about it, make sure to like this video and of course, subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss out on future updates and news that I share with you guys every single day. Appreciate that, guys. So now the threats here at home, they're elevated. That's no secret. I mean, we got the FBI, we got Homeland Security, all these different agencies warning us. And of course, President Joe Biden that things may soon get very dangerous for Americans here at home and abroad. However, and I'm not sure if this is a sign of things to come, but President Joe Biden recently approved airstrikes to answer back after some of our servicemen were injured due to a drone attack. Now, you got some people that are saying that it's the right move, with other people saying that it's coming in just a little bit too late.
The Pentagon says on Christmas Day, the Iranian-backed militia group Kataib Hezbollah launched a drone attack against coalition forces in northern Iraq, wounding 3 U.S. troops, 1 critically. The president, in response, ordered airstrikes against the group and others affiliated with Iran. In a statement, the White House said the president places no higher priority than the protection of American personnel serving in harm's way. The United States will act at a time and in a manner of our choosing should these attacks continue. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin echoed that sentiment and added, while we do not seek to escalate conflict in the region, we are committed and fully prepared to take further necessary measures to protect our people and our facilities. This adds to the growing list of more than 100 attacks on U.S. forces since October 17th, just days after Hamas attacked Israel. The White House has criticized Iran for its support of Hamas and Yemen's Houthi rebels, the group responsible for attacks on ships in the Red Sea.
Remember when I said like some critics are saying that this retaliation from the Biden administration is a little bit too late? This is exactly what they're pertaining to. Those 103 attacks that Americans have had to endure overseas with little to no reaction from the White House other than targeting warehouses, right? This latest airstrike is the most direct retaliation that we've seen from them, and at this point, too many of our own troops have already been hurt. This now opens up yet another can of worms, as we all know that our military isn't in the best shape in terms of numbers.
Military faces a recruiting crisis, with 3 of the 5 branches failing to meet their manpower goals this year. Big bonuses, loosened enlistment requirements, and new advertising slogans did not push the services out of their slumps, and lawmakers want answers. Mike Gooding has the latest.
I believe ending the military recruiting crisis should be our top priority. I don't know how we can expect to have a military if we can't solve this recruiting issue.
The U.S. military is going through one of its worst recruiting stretches since the all-volunteer force began in 1973. The Army missed its recruiting goal by 15,000 soldiers, or 25%, and the Air Force, and the Navy all expect to miss their goals in 2023.
I have a story that really hits home with the problem that our forces are facing right now, and it's one where I was talking to one of our veterans. He pretty much just told me straight up, if he was any younger, he would not be inclined to volunteer and serve under this administration. So I then asked him why. He just told me that he swore to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. Wow. And well, I didn't need to ask any more questions after that. Do we have any veterans here in our community right now watching this video? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Now I want to go ahead and close things out with something that we may see more of throughout 2024. And unfortunately, this is the added tension between the US, the United States, and Iran, as it's being reported that Iran has tripled production on nearly weapons grade uranium. This is a move that may drive the rift between us and them just a little bit deeper, as it is a signal that they're probably fast tracking their nuclear program.
Iran is producing 60% enriched uranium and has tripled its production levels in recent weeks. They are the only country in the world not declared a nuclear power that is capable of producing such highly enriched uranium, which can be converted to weapons-grade material within days. Iran is said to have a high enough stock to fuel at least 3 weapons, a growing threat amid growing tensions. With the Israel-Hamas war ongoing, the U.S. on Israel's side, and Hamas supported by Iran and other Iranian-backed militant groups, it puts Iran and the U.S. at odds. With more than 100 attacks on U.S. bases by Iran's proxy groups since the war began, tensions are coming to a head. And with new reports showing Iran growing its arsenal at unprecedented levels, the U.S. is taking notice. There is an international watchdog that oversees countries' use of nuclear weapons, the International Atomic Energy Agency, an agency that Iran has not always been so forthcoming with. Last year, Iran was caught turning off cameras monitoring inside their nuclear facilities, and Tehran has been accused of failing to comply with the agency's investigations, which eventually discovered Iran produced a small amount of 83% highly enriched uranium, just shy of the 90% weapons-grade level earlier this year.
Now, some of you guys might be thinking, why don't we just bring the fight to them? Well, it's a little complicated given the location that they're at. I mean, just look at this, right? Do you see Iran just smack dab in the middle right there? Starting a conflict with Iran may possibly pull in other countries too. Countries that the United States really aren't very close to, if you know what I'm saying. And again, with our troops in the Middle East under constant threats, we can't forget about just how much danger we may be in right now here at home. And this is exactly why I really appreciate you guys sticking around until the end, because this is the kind of information that we really need to be aware of. Information that, quite frankly, every citizen of this nation should know about. But what are your thoughts on everything that we talked about today? Make sure you guys let me know down below. And before I go, I just want to thank you guys for your time. Keep safe, and I'll see you on the next one.